Hi everybody, I'm going to do an update on my journal of stitchery, which is actually a combined junk journal. This was a tin that someone gave me at Christmas for a present for looking after their cats. The rascally cat that escaped, that I had to go all the way, half an hour or so drive in 30-degree heat to get, who escaped just before I started. So it was a thank you present. So isn't that a lovely tin? Look at it. I love all the mark making on it. And honestly, it's by Michelle Karen. May, I don't know if that's her nickname or if that's the name of her design. But anyway, it's there's a scanning code. It's Indigenous, obviously. So beautiful, beautiful. How nice is that? I don't think that Beck, when she was buying me this present, really knew that I would love the mark making on the tin. Anyway, I'm just using it at the moment to keep in my bits and pieces that I need close by, and some of my little other bits of work that I'm doing. Now, what I didn't show, probably should show these things. I will do a Thread Thursday. I'm getting there. Doing it all today, and then I'll be editing. So this was in Helen from Tasmania's grandma's or mother's or grandma's stash that I got for a bargain. And isn't it cute? It's like a little tartan beret hat thing, and it's got some pins in. That's so cute. Anyway, this is where I'm up to. So I need, right, this is wax thread. So I've got a few different types of wax threads. So I bought these as wax threads off eBay. It says waxed cord. Let me just move my tin over there. But this, right, so this was on eBay as waxed cord. It's really not very waxed, it's just smooth. But this was from, I think, Kmart in a little kit. And this is definitely waxed because you can feel it. You know, it feels like it's a wick of a candle or something. And look at it, goes straight or it bends, but it's very smooth. I might use this one actually for this because this could be a little bit more difficult. All right, so I've got an awl. Now, here's my book. So I am going to be sewing onto this part. So if you remember from a previous episode, sewing onto this part with the stitches out here, and then I'm going to fold that bit under and glue this in. So I don't need this at the moment. So what I've done is I've got a bit of paper that is close enough to the right width of the spine. I've folded it in half, then I've folded in two of these. Now the other thing I'm going to do is fold it in half this way. So this is without doing any measurements or even getting a ruler out. This is the quick and easy way to work out your signatures. So I've got 2 paper signatures and 1 fabric signature. So each of these points is where you're going to sew your signature. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to lay it. Let me fold that under and fold this under so I can see it really well. Lay this in the middle. And make my holes. Now let's just have a look. As you can see they're coming through. I'll just stab myself. Okay. I've got my holes. I can't really see them, but I'll be able to see them on this side. In fact, here's another way to help. I have to say that I have been in the process of doing quite a bit of change in the house, and I've been slowly moving a lot of stuff downstairs. So I live downstairs and I do a lot of work downstairs, but I haven't got this setup is still upstairs in my craft room. My craft room looks like a bomb's hit it. That's just how it is. Alright, so here's my 3 signatures. So I am going to start putting the back one in. And I'm going to go through them all once I've got them in. So I'm putting this in the middle, where I think is the middle. So I've got haphazard bits of paper for my junky journal bit. So they're all over the place. So I just need to use the top and the bottom and the middle. And once again go through with my oil. Okay, so wax thread. Now we always need, anyone who hasn't seen this process, I'm sure you've seen Rachel do this many times. So I originally learnt 3 to be safe, but I know with this wax thread that it's not going to be running away with itself. It's going to be fairly good. So 2.5. In fact, you don't even need as much as 2.5, but it's always good to have a little bit of playing room. I've got a very, actually, just think the wax thread isn't so thick, so I don't need such a big bulby eye, because it'll be just harder to get through the paper and the cover. I need a longer, thinner one, more like a milliner's, because that'll be easier to get through, provided the wax thread will fit through the eye. This is very fine. Oh, they're easy. Okay, well, perfect. Right. Now, because I am tying on the outside, and this is the way it's going up, because I want this to be at the front when I open it and see this way. So if I'm doing the back, I am going to come in here, the middle of the back. Okay? And I've got to make sure there's a bit of thread here. So now that they've got all out of order, I'm coming in the middle of this one. But now that they've got a bit out of order, I might have to do them all individually. Right, so you'll see a few of the pages, but I'll go through properly in a minute. I mean, some of these pages were already on the original one. Now, I don't know what number. I don't know what episode, I can't remember. All right, so that's not the middle. Is this the middle? Now, just make sure it's up the right way, the way I want it to be. That's the front, the way I like. These are up the right way. Yes. So, got to hold this end so it doesn't get lost. I'm going to come back out the top. Hope this is on camera properly. Now it is a little bit fiddly, so you might have to juggle around a little bit, and that's okay. And I can't really see where this hole was, but I can just double check if I'm coming out the right spot here, or maybe this is what I'll do. Okay, so here's another little hint. See if we can find where I went in there. So my needle has to go in there. It's a bit fiddly, but with a bit of practice you'll get there. Make sure that's still there. Let's have a look to the middle. So that is going to need to be tight. Okay, it looks all flippy and floppy now, but it does actually come good. So we're going to come in at this hole here. Bring the tail through. Now we're coming in the top hole of this one. Let's see if we've got them fairly together. Might be able to get it through all in one go. And we did. Oh, I love it when that happens. Okay, so let's make sure our tail is still quite tight. And we go. Now that we're back into the middle, we're coming through here and back through the hole that we made. And I'll just cut it in half like this. Now, one of these has to be on either side of that wax thread. Hold it tight. And so the beauty of this really waxed wax thread is that when you tie your knot, it kind of seals it. So I'm doing 3 times. And see, we do have a bit of, I don't know, can you see it? Like, there's still, you know, almost one row free, but it's just always better to have a little bit extra. So we've just done the back signature. Now I'm just working out whether I want to do the middle next or the end next and have it ready to go. You don't really need to see the method with that, so I can do that on fast forward. Okay, so what I've got, this is what I decided. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this, but I decided that when I saw Rachel doing the pull-out bit, that I've never done one like that, so I thought I'd give it a go. I already had 2 bits of this ready cut to the right size. So what I decided to do, so bear with me while I explain. I decided to keep these 2 on the outer because they're really good as a solid signature. And I did one little flap here that's going to sew in with those. And then I've got, as Rachel did, I've got a whole heap of ironed pull-out bits. And you can see, I'm sure you've seen what Rachel was doing for that. So what I'm doing with this one, I'm just going to pull that out there, thread up my needle, a bit more wax thread. Two and a bit. Get my nice scissors, my favourite scissors. Thread my needle. Now this one's going to be a little bit more tricky because I'm not using the I'm not using that. Perhaps I should. Okay, maybe I will. How about doesn't matter too much if they're not perfectly lined up. The main thing actually is that I can see where to go out for those 2, because with this one I'm coming in from the back. So this is going to be the middle hole here. Nearly lost it. Then just going to make sure these are together. This is a bit harder doing it this way. I could have glued it. Just need to make sure that I'm matching this. Much more difficult than paper. That to there and that to there. Alright, so it's harder because it's flimsy. Just make sure there's enough tail there. Make sure these are all the spiny bits. So this is where the ironing fold here is where these sit, just out a bit, so they don't sit right in here and get junked up. So when they're shut, they should fold to that line. All right, so we're going through here, and we're going through. Make sure I'm lining it up. Now, this is the part where maybe this helps, putting that there to see where I've got to go. I'll just turn it and so you can see. There it is, poking through. The same on this end. Just pull it through. We're going back through this hole, back through there and out the same, or close enough to the same. Okay, now we're just getting that tied off tight. So now what we've got is our back signature with paper. Now let me just refold this and I'll count through the pages so you can see. See how it's not quite sitting in too far? Now I'm going to do the same for the front signature and then I'll go through the whole book. Okay, so we have the inside front cover. We've got our paper signatures. Now I did show making this particular signature. So it's got a little pocket here from, this was a paintbrush holder. I've got a window from an envelope. So this is an envelope that was gessoed. I've glued it onto a little bit of satin, which is now sewn in. Map of Melbourne. This was a freebie from Artie Mays. So the other side of that, from Artie Mays, Andrea's Facebook group. is just something out of an encyclopedia. Then I've got, this is a antique, I don't know what year it is. It's just an antique dictionary that I've been using the pages for because I like the large type, and I also like, no, that one hasn't got, but it's got little illustrations through it, which is fun. This was a freebie from Francesca Nunes from Portugal to do a little class I'm going to do with her online. She just was giving us some examples, so I've put one of those in because I like little reminders, and also I've talked about mark making, so these are little memories of the way she has a particular style of pencil flower drawing mark making. I love that. Right, so we've got our gessoed music thing with little pockets and the back of each of the ones that I've just shown. And this was actually, this came in the mail, and I've made that little pocket, so it's like a little envelope, and I've covered it in my printables. These were from Geli prints, and a bit of Huss's bed sheet, so I know that it's getting a lot of mileage. So that's the first signature, and I'm just having a laugh because one of my followers will have a good laugh about that. Yes, Beth, you. I'm talking about you. So now I've got the two bits that these were going to be my original idea. So I've put them in. I love them. They're just this lovely cloth. And I think my things are downstairs. So when it comes to the start of this, so this will be front cover, or I might have two little, a front and an inside, but it doesn't matter. I've got plenty of pages. Samplers, or two samplers, or what, the first sampler and the second sampler. So these will end up being sewn together, or I may glue them, because if I'm sewing pages over the top, perfectly fine. Or as Rachel says, she's going to sew along the top and the bottom, and then they're stuck together. But while you're working on it, if you pull it out, you can put stitch on whatever week we're up to. So this could be the first panel if I've done one extra panel. At the moment I've got 3, so I've got a front page and I've got 2 samplers. Obviously I could sew those together too. Just depends how many, because I think we're doing 6, so we're only doing a half year. So that would be front cover, sampler 1 and sampler 2. Then we've got block 1, January, block 2, February. They'll be sewn together. March, April, May, June. And I've made this, of what I've done here, so I'll have extra. So I knew I wanted a little bit extra, because you never know, I might do an index page, or I might just play around with something and stick it in, who knows. What I've done with this one, I've put this so I had a few options. I can tuck the whole thing under. I have been putting on some of my pages a little tab like this. I haven't, some of my I say some of my pages as if I've done a lot. I've done one, but I have put a little tab like that on my bunny one. Sorry, it's downstairs. And I've written January on it, or I've sewn on January. So I might use something like a tab like this to be able to pull out the books pages. Anyway, that's where I'm up to with that. So it's sewn in. And here is my last signature. Now if any of these are a bit tall, I can still just cut them back. I know that my fabric's fine, and it's looking like maybe it's gone a bit. If that's tucked under and that's tucked under, I'll just use my scissors to cut that back, or I'll use my tearing ruler to cut it back. Alright, so This is a little print out of one of my Geli print mess arounds. This is a funny story. The Hungry Jack bag. I went next door because they've been away and I've been watering their plants, and there was a Hungry Jack's bag on their front porch. I don't know if one of them ordered it by mistake to the wrong house or it was just delivered to the wrong house. Anyway, it was sitting there and it was cold, so I thought, oh, paper bag. It's like, oh, Christmas, shiny. So I've glued together the edges of this tuck-in fold bit, and I've put a little notch, and I've just put some, just to keep it in, you know, line with the colours. Bit of collage, bit more collage, and this is a page from a house and garden or something like that, and it says, love the hanging garden. Now I'm realising I did want that type to be in there, so I'll have to just see when I've finished whether it's sticking up too high or not. I've got trolley mat and cozy pattern, so you could actually follow those. I've got those in there. I've got a doily. I've got the sew page of this dictionary. There's a little picture. A little bit more of Francesca's beautiful paper. That was one of my grungy mess arounds with the texture and gel printing. Now I've got a little window that I've made with an envelope, and I've folded it up and sewn it so that it doesn't go all the way through. And I've just collaged a little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, and put a little pocket there. And this was an envelope someone gave me at Christmas. And that's the other side of the grungy textured piece I was making. Other side of Francesca's, and I managed to get a sewing machine in there, sewing. So the sew is on the other, oh, we've got sex as well. Oh well, what can you do? Now, the inside of that beautiful page, this one, I love that and I want to leave that there. This is a bit boring, so when I come to doing the junk journal part of it, I usually fill these up with collage, or I put another bit of paper over, or I gesso it and paint on it, whatever. This is meant to be one of those multi-journals, bit of everything, but also wanting to keep my sewing in. So this is the other side of the Hungry Jack's bag. So what I did with that, I'll show you on the other side, is I just cut the bottom of the bag off and notched it, and just only pasted down the inside with just a glue stick. So I've got two pockets, so it's made two pockets. I've got the other side of the paintbrushes, and there's the back. So this is how it is with the spine. And then I'm still thinking I'm going to do something along this edge to stop that being all ratty. But then I can glue this in to here. Tuck that in, tuck this in. See, there's plenty of room, so it might be fine. I might be okay about leaving that. I'll tuck that in, glue it all down. I think that this was because it was just a little bit high for the this inside part. So I've cut there and glued that down, but I do have every intention to glue that down once the book's in. Or maybe not, maybe I left it out for a reason. Maybe I actually just wanted to have it cover over the stitching on the back. That would make sense, wouldn't it? So that's there it is. Still not quite finished, but once that is glued down in, you won't see the stitches. And I was thinking I actually might be wanting to add more on here, and so that's why I'm not gluing it yet. It's still a work in progress, and as we've got a few other projects to do, people are doing the tags, the flags, And now Anne started a tag roulette, which is fun, and I'm going to start that one because why not? And even though I didn't join in the flags, but I'm looking at them and thinking I might make some anyway just for fun, but I won't do that on camera because I didn't pay for the course, so that's going to be something on the back burner. And that's it. That's going to be my book, all made from a box of chocolates and some beautiful material. So I hope you like that. That's my version. Of course, everyone will do different versions and follow along with Rachel and Sarah, of course. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.